Hey, Bulldog fans! Welcome to Inside the Huddle, the podcast that brings you the heart and soul of Rollick Bulldogs high school sports. All right, everyone. Welcome to Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Romo Athletics and powered by our new title sponsor, Phelps County Bank. Again, big shout out to Phelps County Bank. They're 100% employee owned. They are 100% community champions. They are bankers by day and they are Bulldog fans by night. Appreciate Phelps County Bank and everything they do for us and our program here and for the community as a whole. All right, so here we are. We are on episode 16 of the season 3, episode 16. And on this episode of Coach Hawk, we're back with Coach Derick Heflin and the football specialist, Drew Barr. You like how I announced you on Friday nights? I say that?
Oh, yeah.
Drew Barr.
It's very nice.
Okay, glad. So, man, welcome back to the show. Hey, so first of all, team meal.
Oh, yes. Tonight we had Alex's Pizza. It was donated by Alex's, and then PCB donated some Subway cookies, and then Sonic has always provided the water. And it's senior nights this week, so all the senior parents were here. We had the senior boards up. It was a really cool experience. It's always my favorite dinner of the year, to get to go through and look at all the kids or the players now. See them in their little RYF jerseys and see them as little kids and all that stuff, and where they've come from to where they are now. It's always a cool experience.
Yeah. A lot of fun too, isn't it, Drew, coming through? I tell you, it was kind of, yeah, it is. I came in, the cafeteria is packed. I'm like, what is going on? And then if there's a few guys in suits, I'm like, did I miss something? But it was people coming from work, and yeah, it was great to see and seeing all the family here and gather around the boards and everyone kind of going up. And it's yeah, love senior night. It'll be tomorrow night. We take on St. Mary's. So man, I tell you what. So let's take a look at the game. So Friday night, when 42-14 win over North County at Bonne Terre. Now, let's be honest. After that trip, I mean, because the 47 was closed, so we were taking back roads. I think you guys did the same thing. I mean,
I drove the trailer, so we took Highway 8 the whole way there. The bus turned, and I grew up in Vida, and I know what happens when you turn down them roads that go like that. And I wasn't about to take my truck and a trailer down there. I was gonna just fight the road construction, and they said it was a windy, curvy, nasty road that I'm glad I didn't go down. And we sat in traffic for about 5 minutes, and then we got to Bonne Terre.
oh, wow.
I mean, it wasn't. There's not a straight way to get there. It wasn't
No.
fun, but yeah, it was a wild trip to get there. It took us a minute to get our sea legs back, but we definitely came out, and after a couple early penalties, put a foot on the gas and kept it there all night.
I tell you, it was a great game. I was able to watch it online, and um, we were going through it, just looking at some of the highlights, and it was just a dominant effort, I thought, by the team. Again, 42-14 was 42-7 with under 3 minutes left in the game. I mean, it was just. Man, I mean, just all aspects of the game. I know there's a couple things you'd like to have back, but I was looking at you. You look at the stats, and it was total yards was only 319 yards for the Bulldogs, which is kind of hard to imagine with a score of 42 points, and then 283 for North County.
Yeah.
So kind of close. But as we were saying, I go, there was a fumble recovery, right? On the sack, or we had
Jay sacked the guy on the punt, or they tried a fake punt.
Fake
Jay Jay made a great play. We'd worked on it all week, and they had faked a punt in 3 of the 4 games leading up to it. And I told Jay, you're not going to block the punt. You're going for when this kid catches it and he takes off running, you're going to tackle him. And he tackled him, and I think they were about on their own 10-yard line or somewhere in there. I mean, it was a huge play that really, at the moment when that happened, it was the thing that broke their back. They had kind of kept it close, and they did a good job. The second quarter, that's where all their yards came, because they had a really long drive where we had, we were bend but don't break on defense, and we actually intercept a pass and return it and then fumble it, and then they end up scoring on that drive. I guess the part 2 of that drive, and that's where a lot of them yards came. But I thought, in every aspect of the game, Friday night was the best game we've played all year. And that's what you want as a coach, is each week to get better and better. And after week 4, that was a great team,
Mhm.
and it was a tough loss, but our kids responded and handled themselves the way they need to, and it showed the leadership of our seniors and the kids we have to respond the way we did because we go down score, and the game was never really in doubt. And they every time they kind of got brought back or tried to get some momentum, our guys answered the bell and just kind of stomped it out real quick.
Well, that first touchdown they got in the second quarter, as you mentioned, on their second drive
Yeah.
of on the same drive, and then they score, and then they kick it off, and CP takes it
Yeah.
94 yards to the
Yeah,
house.
he answered real
Yeah.
quick with that, and it was one of those things. It was kind of funny on the headset. It's kind of a running joke of we practice it every week and go through it and go CP. If they kick to you, we don't have like I just take it to the house and we'll kick off. And as soon as they kicked it, Coach Corbett goes, "Are they being serious right now?" I go, "I think they are. Get the PAT team ready." And he was about at our own 20, and he pressed it to the left and saw a seam to the right, and you know, the Raleigh High plays, and
Yeah.
we kick an extra point. And I mean, he is so special in space with the ball in his hands. It's a fun thing to be a part of, and it's magnetic or electric. And I've never had a kid that can just in the punt return, the kick return phase of the game, return the kicks the way he does. And it's something where we spend time each week figuring out ways to make sure he can get the ball because he can change the game in those moments.
So there's we have a group text between some of the senior dads, and somebody might have said, "Hey, say you don't scout kickoff return without kissing kickoff return or something
Yep.
like that."
Yeah.
It's like, oh my! As soon as it happened, it's like, oh my gosh. Um, yeah, that was and we had. I remember there's another team that said, "Okay, we're just going to kick it to you every time," just
Yeah,
like
that was week 1 Festus, and it is unreal. It's a thing where when before I was a head coach, I always put other people in charge of special teams because I had a lot on my plate, and this is something where Coach Corbett is in charge of kick return, but I'm in charge of punt return, and we spend more time than I've ever spent on it because it is that important he is that game changing in that aspect of the game.
yeah, and whether he breaks it or not, at least setting up the short field,
Yes.
everything else, and
And that's and that helps us too because a lot of times people will kick it away, and it like you said, it sets up a shorter field because they'd rather kick it out of bounds and not have the chance of him taking it 94 yards or him taking a punt return to the house because it's game changing.
it is. So we had we sacked the punter. So we got that. Had the kickoff return. We recovered a fumble. Stopped multiple fourth
Yep.
down attempts too that they tried to go for it, and just man, the D just bowed up, and it was just, and it wasn't like it was even close in some of those. I mean,
Yeah.
it was they got like no gains on their
Yes.
fourth down, so
Yeah.
that was great to see. And then you got some other people in there taking some snaps. I know it's a big thing because you had Jack Mrazowitz has just played almost every down except for those games where
Yeah.
we had the blowouts where we talked about that before. Easton Smith's been out there a lot. Of course, obviously CP's out there on everything except for defense. But you were able to get Jed Plank was hurt, so Cruz Wilkins came in,
Yeah.
played for him.
Cruz had a
Yeah,
great week.
yeah,
He stepped up. You guys have seen, because he's kind of been our backup running back when Terrell was down. He filled in and did good things, and when he's gotten opportunities in some of those blowouts, he's really shown you like, hey, this kid can really play, and you get excited about the next 2 years. And he'd gotten some reps on defense, but not a lot. And when Jed went down, he had a great week of practice, and he went out there Friday night and was all over the field. And it was kind of funny. I think it was Vashon. It was Vashon or Hillcrest. He made a couple plays. And when we were watching the film, I looked at Coach Kemp and I said, "Was that Jack?" And he goes, "No, that was Cruz." And there was one. It was one of those fourth downs in the second half. They ran something to the edge, and he ran the alley. And when I was doing the stats, I had to rewind it a couple times. And I was like, "That's not Jack. It's Cruz." And you can see that. And then, like I said, the offensive side is he's really special there too. He's going to be a great football player for us in the future, and he's doing a great job right now. But his future, the sky's the limit for him.
Oh yeah, and you call that so? Yeah, I know what you're talking about on the plays before, and then when we were watching that, same thing. And Ethan and I were looking at it on film, and we're watching it
Yeah.
live, and I'm like, I thought that was Jack. He came up so hard and
Yes.
hit that and filled it, looked like that. And of course, I always in junior high and some of the freshman games I've announced, I always talk about the cruise missile for the Cruz Wilkins,
Yeah.
which I'm again I don't want to upset anybody by military type stuff out there, but I would play the missile sound and stuff, and that's kind of cool. And then you had got Blaine Spabo back there, or
Yeah.
Sababo, however that the stadium announcer was going at him. Like they had it a couple different ways, and the radios had said something too. But Blaine Spabo got some good reps in there. He's been getting a little bit more reps at
Yeah.
quarterback, and had a
And
nice
that was
outing.
kind of the decision we made after Mountain Home, and it was a we talked to both the kids, and they were both perfectly fine with it. Easton is such means so much to us on defense, and it's kind of a weird trade-off of you usually don't want to rotate your quarterbacks, but we had kind of said, hey, the gap between Easton and really where we lose when Easton's not playing defense is not near as big a gap as when we go in with Blaine at quarterback. And Blaine can really do some things. He's really come on from his sophomore to his junior year, and he can spin it. Like there's no doubt in my mind. The first he came in
Oh,
and we
that
wasn't
was
even
nice.
playing. Uh, Easton's elbow was bleeding. And they came off, and I'd already called the play, and it was something we had worked all week. And I watching film, we knew if we could get Cam open on that corner route. I didn't bat an eye. I said, "Well, Blaine, you got it." And he three-step drop or faked it, took his 3 steps, and then got a little rush, and he took 2 extra steps, and he threw the ball exactly. He threw it to the pylon where we work every time we run a corner route, it's run to the pylon, and it hit Cam right in the hands, and then it was a great play, and he did a great job when he was in there. And that was kind of the game plan going in was, hey, every Easton's going to get 2 series, and then Blaine's going to get one, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And Easton handled it great because there were a couple times like, hey, just let Blaine go. I need one right here because we played a little or play. He was doing a lot on defense, and I think it helps our team. And we after Mountain Home we saw that, hey, we can, Cam, Easton, and Jack were playing 120 to 150 plays, and that's unreal. We got to figure out some ways to get them breaks. And we had talked about if Terrell was good to go, we could get
Mhm.
spell Terrell a little bit.
Yep.
We weren't planning for Terrell to play the whole game
Yeah.
but he responded and came out well. And you talk about the stats. The cool thing when Dave Roberts got me the stats was everybody got involved. It
Yeah.
wasn't just CP scored all the touchdown or had the 4 touchdowns, and Cam had the 2 touchdowns, but Emory had a great night running the ball. Easton and Blaine both did a great job at quarterback and ran the ball well when it was called. And in the second half, they were going to stop the quarterback and the fullback, and we pitched the ball, and the slots got involved and did great things. And it was a full, well-rounded game of we threw the ball, we ran the ball, and when we spread the love between everybody that could touch the ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think there was like 4 players that had over like 25 yards
Yeah, yeah,
rushing. So that, again, nice diversity, and like I said, having Terrell back was nice. He had a couple nice runs, set up a touchdown run for CP. I think
yeah,
that maybe
yes.
that first one or the second one. Yeah, and
Second one.
and the pass to Cam, in the pass was a nice pass, but. So again, watching it on film, watching it on the computer, and it looks like I'm like I didn't know if he was in
Yeah,
because he was kind of fading out. Looks like he almost did like a toe drag type
yes,
thing right there on the edge on the sideline. It was a nice catch, a
yes.
touchdown, and he got pretty excited on that
No,
one. And
yeah, no, he had 2 great but
yeah,
Blaine and Easton both took chances throwing him the ball for touchdowns, and he's got great hands. And we've talked about it. He does such a good job in the run game that when he releases and runs those routes that we have him run in our play action or boot game, people think that he's just going to block somebody, and
yeah,
it allows him to get open because he is such a good blocker. And both the quarterbacks threw great balls. The second one that Easton threw to it, the one Blaine threw was unreal. And then the one that uh, Easton threw to him, as you watched it, Emory did a great job of setting or he chipped the defensive end and released to the flat, and he did it textbook. And you watch it, and he's wide open too. If Blaine or if Cam's not wide open, we had two
two
guys
options.
that were
Yeah,
wide open because we had run toss so much and had so much success with toss that when we fake tossed to the left and came back to the right, they were both wide open. And it was the thing with the way we executed Friday night. Were the thing the re, I was happy. So I just put it that way. The easiest way to say it. Saturday morning, I was happy when I turned on the tape.
that's what you want to see. Again,
Yeah,
like you said, you started off with talked about you build on every game. You see the improvement, you see the things you want
yeah,
to see, and then to go out there and execute it. Again, a team that we had lost to last year
yeah,
at our homecoming
yeah,
here, and you made in a close one, and here you just made a statement.
yeah. No, the boys played really well, and I'm really proud of them.
Yeah. So let's take a look at our price chopper big dogs of the week. And first up, we got CP Colton Petersmith. Already talked to him a little bit, right? So what do you have? 9 carries for 85 yards
Yeah.
rushing, 2 catches for 41 yards receiving. He had 4 touchdowns with those 4 rushing touchdowns. Then he had a kick return for a touchdown.
Yes. No, he had a night. I mean, and and he had an interception.
Yeah,
And on the film, we talked the running backs Coach Tula and Coach Wright got on him a little bit about ball placement
little
because
little
he
free.
made the interception was an unreal play. I mean,
Yeah,
if you turn that tape on and you're a baseball coach, you see why he's a power forward baseball player because the ball is in the air and he judges it and goes and gets it and makes it unreal play. He just got to have a little higher and higher when he on the return. But no,
yeah.
he played a great game, did everything you could ask for, did a great job, and set up a lot of things. We got the ball in his hands a bunch of different ways, and when the ball is in his hands, good things happen.
So yeah, that's like I said. So he had 4 touchdowns on the night. The other 2 touchdowns were by Cam Brown. We talked about that. So
Yes.
yeah,
Now Cam played a great game, and he played a great game on both sides of the ball. He had those 2 catches, and we talk about what he does in the run game, but the thing when I watched turn on the film Saturday morning was he played his best game on defense. And a lot of things there's things if you're watching it and you're a casual fan, you don't understand how disciplined and how well he played defensive end Friday night. And I think he ended up with 7 tackles
mhm,
and 2 TFLs and a sack, which those are great numbers. But the way he read blocks, got where he was supposed to be, took on multiple blockers and made the ball go out, and it allowed those other guys to run and play football. And the next 2 guys I think had the best game on defense that they've had. But it starts with those guys up front, and we've talked about all year. Our defensive line kind of dictates a lot of things. If they play well, we're gonna have a good night. If they don't, it's a long night. And he set the tone and did a great job on the defensive side of the ball. And then you add in the 2 catches,
yeah.
and it was a great night for
It
him.
was the 2 touchdowns, and I think it was like one of the first plays of the game. He either got a sack or a tackle for loss, like one of the in that first set.
It was I think the first third down, or maybe it might have been the first time they went for it. He got
Yeah,
the sack. I mean,
yeah.
it was set the tone early of how we were going to play and what was going to happen.
So our next big dog. So we got some. We had a lot of success.
Yeah, no, we did a
We
good
couldn't
job.
narrow it down, and we got Hammer time.
Yeah, no, and
Yeah, Michael Hammer.
he was all over the place. When Jack went, Jack didn't really miss a lot of time, but he had a stinger in early. And I think it was the second time. So we scored. We stopped him on 4 downs the first time. Our kick coverage was a little shaky early because CP just been kicking out of the back of the end zone. And I think our guys kind of were like, "Oh, and we kind of relaxed a little bit. We will be better at that." But the second time they went forward on 4th down, Hammer, like you talked about, they ran speed option into the boundary, and Hammer came off the edge and made a huge TFL. He was all over the place and was being physical and being really aggressive. I mean, there was some violence occurring, and he did a
Yeah,
great job.
yeah. That's a love playing the Hammer time right there, little MC Hammer. Yeah, that was great to watch again. Just seeing the speed that he went in there and finished it, and like I said, it was looking to
Yes,
punish the
yeah.
runner. And then the next one, man, big. I like to say Cameron Moore, junior linebacker.
No, and he had his best football game as a Raleigh Bulldog. And it wasn't just me that was telling all the coaches after the game was Cam. That's how you play football. And he had a rough game, and he'd had some moments where he had some rough stuff, and we'd been and coached him pretty hard this week, and he responded. And he played middle linebacker the way a middle linebacker should play. He was sideline to sideline, and there were some hits that were violent. I mean, he put one on 33 that the kid came out for the rest of that series, and it was like I said, he was sideline to sideline and was putting a hurt on people, and not in a bad way, but I mean, it was just how you play football. It
Yep.
was all clean, legal,
Yep.
run through people, but it was unreal from where he was against Mountain Home to where he was last night, and it's a tribute to him. He took coaching and he did what he was supposed to, and had a great night. And anytime did he have 16 or 17?
I think 16,
16.
16 tackles, one tackle
Yeah,
for loss.
you spread it out. He had 16 tackles. That's having a night for anybody. But yeah, I was happy when I watched the film, and I knew when it was at the end of the game how well he had played. But watching the film the next morning, it was even more impressive to see how he was reading the blocks, doing the things he was supposed to do, and playing with his hands. That was the biggest thing we had been on him, with getting off blocks and doing what you're supposed to do. And then when he gets off those blocks and there's a ball carrier, they're going down. He doesn't miss tackles, and I was really proud of him, and he had a great game too. And then like I said, Cam Hammer and Cameron had their best games on defense, and that led to us really giving up. The varsity gave up 7 points. They scored on our JV at the end, but those guys set the tone and rebounded really well from what had happened at Mountain Home.
So yeah. So one of the things I love about Cameron is, like you said, is the evolution of him. I mean,
Yeah.
he came in last year as a sophomore, started for you, right?
Yes. Yeah. He
Middle
started our game last.
linebacker, but then and again, he's gotten stronger, he's gotten faster.
Yeah.
But then playing with the hands, something as simple as that, where you can't just go out there and try and just run through people
Yeah.
and stuff anymore. You got to the way you play as a middle linebacker is so critical to come up and shed, like you said, shed those blockers, and that's the difference between where he started the season,
Yeah.
where he had great plays,
Yeah.
but it was he getting the
Yeah.
consistency? And
No.
you saw a really consistent
No,
performance from him in the middle.
yeah, no, he was excellent, and I think good things are coming. We're going to need it this week when St. Mary's comes in, but I think he had another great week of practice, and I think he'll be ready to go.
So congratulations, Drew, on the six touchdown calls. Again, the fact that you were able to say, "Hey, CP, take it to the house." That was a great play call on the return, which I didn't know. As a football specialist, I didn't know coach was letting you jump into the special teams coaching. But nice, congratulations on six touchdowns.
Thank you. Yes, yes, it
It's
is.
even more impressive he did it from. Were you in Boston or Maine?
Yeah,
I've also
I know, I
been.
know. We're wondering, you were like, how are you texting those things?
I've also been text to Evan has something on. But I know how to text him, I call him, and I told her, this is sound sleep.
Yeah.
I'm not on the dove him.
No, he doesn't disturb me. He
Yeah.
just lets me know. He got me the game plan, and then he made sure as we were driving back through on those curvy roads, and he called to tell us that we did a good job executing his game plan. And he did. The boys did a great job, didn't they?
Yeah,
Well, I heard Josh Smith actually was making those calls.
no,
Like,
no, 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 no.
I don't know. That's why I was gonna have him on the air, but
Bobby had to say it on air.
Yeah, you can't say what you're thinking. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't want to lose the
Yeah.
PG rating. Yeah.
Bobby had CBA had not. There's Josh Manson to tell you wrong, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kickboot coach, I don't know.
He
2009.
He was the head.
Head coach. I could come here water. I'm very bored of Josh right now. I don't know him doing.
All right. Okay. Here. All right.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, let's take
We
a.
started to tag.
Yeah, sorry, I should have
poked a
done.
bear
I
that
just
you didn't have.
yeah,
Yes.
poked the bear. So let's talk about tomorrow night, senior night. St. Mary's coming to town. Last season, we took on St. Mary's and we beat them at their place in a heck of a game. It was a great shootout, back and forth. And it was just a lot of fun. It was like a 35-31 win. We watched that game online. We were off
Yeah.
on a trip, recruiting trip. Anyhow, man, we had it plugged into the TV. Man, we were
Yeah.
eating it up. It was a lot of fun to watch as a fan.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much fun to coach
No,
because it's so back and
it was a
forth.
fun game last year. That they're a good team. They've got a tailback that's I think over 800 yards
Yep.
through 5 games, and he's gotten 5 or 6 pounds. I think.
Oh no, man! It's like 6'7".
Oh,
No,
my bad.
sorry.
No, he's got.
No, he's got seven
Power.
Big Ten,
Yeah.
or Big 12
Yeah.
offers, and then Cincinnati was the other one.
Yeah, and I mean
Yeah.
he's legit. The kid from Mountain Home, uh, his offensive line. I don't think St. Mary's offensive line as a whole is as good as Mountain Home, uh, but this kid is the best running back we'll see all year, or we've seen so far. Excuse me. And he's really good. They have their left tackle is it's kind of the same thing. I know last year our kids came in the week we played them last year. Nebraska had offered him, and he's only a sophomore. And he's 6'7", 6'8". He's a really big kid. And then they've got a linebacker and a free safety. They're all over the place. So they've got some talent. And when you get into St. Louis private schools, they have some different advantages that we don't have. But because a couple of those kids weren't there last year that are there now. But it is what it is, and our guys are up for the challenge. We had another great week of practice. That's the thing that is fun about this team is that we go to practice every day, and sometimes after you teach all day, going to practice is sometimes you feel like it's almost a chore. And when I go to practice every day, you get to go and be around those kids and have fun, and they do a great job, and they work hard, and they do exactly what you ask them to do. And our focus has been where it needs to be, and I think they're excited. After the Mountain Home game, it is kind of like the Festus game. We looked at it and watched it, and they understood like, hey, we are as close as Coach Heflin keeps telling us we are. We just got to consistently do it for 48 minutes, and that was what was exciting last week was that we did that. And so I think they're up for this challenge, and they're 3-2 with their
Yep.
2 losses coming to big time powerhouses out of Illinois because people don't want to play them in Missouri, but we're up for this challenge, and I think our guys are going to be ready to go.
Yeah, that running back, that Kingston Miles, he's a junior. What they have him as 5'11", 193. That's a nice
He's a
size
big
running
dude. Yeah,
back, you
yeah.
know.
And I mean, the kid before him is Mizzou's backup running back. When the Hardy kid gets
Yeah,
tired,
yeah.
the guy that comes in and gets all those yards is a St. Mary's kid. You know, St. Mary's has got a really good tradition, and they've had a really good run of football players. And the Coleman kid that's the receiver at Mizzou is a St. Mary's kid too. You know, so these kids understand what that looks like. But our kids are going to play together and be a team, and I think we got an idea of what we need to do to go be successful and win.
Now that quarterback, they have a senior quarterback. He's 49 to 78 for almost 1,000 yards, 7 TDs, no interceptions. He's the was he the same quarterback from last year?
No, he was their quarterback transferred to Chaminade. This kid was at either one of the Alton high schools on the
Okay,
east
got
side,
it.
or yeah, I guess it's the east side of Illinois, and he transferred over and then replaced him, and
Okay.
their middle linebacker came with him.
Oh, nice. Elijah Stuckley, yeah, again,
Yeah,
junior, 71 tackles, 2 sacks. They
yeah,
said he's a
yeah,
beast. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, so we're looking to go. So last year against them, again, like you said, a lot of change in their team, but had over 400 yards of total offense, had 200-yard rushers. Emory had 120, Easton had 106,
Yeah.
Gave up no sacks. And the big dogs of the week last
Was
time
the
we played them
Hogs.
was
Yeah,
the Hogs,
yeah,
was the five
yeah,
offensive linemen. Only one of them are back. So you graduated for them.
yeah.
Peyton Fuller is back, is the one on that squad.
And those guys have, you know, you keep talking about we leave them out when we talk about everybody every time. Those guys have really come and done a good job. You know, there hadn't been really a week where we haven't been able to run the ball yet this year. It's been more of when we get behind the 8 ball and we got to throw it. You know, we do a really good job run blocking, and so sometimes when you got a pass block, we ain't as good at it. But they do a great job up front, and they create holes, and you know our guys hit them, and they've come a long way. You know, there's really, like you said, there one guy came back, and those kids have worked hard and been in the weight room and been, you know, they listen to Coach Hugh and do what he says, and each week they keep getting better and better. So I'm excited to see what we can go do tomorrow night.
Yeah, I am too. So before we kind of wind down here, let's just recognize some of our sponsors again. Phelps County Bank, title sponsor, appreciate them. 100% employee owned. Go to mypcb.com if you want to find out more about them. And, you know, this wasn't just the providing, you know, the dessert tonight. It's everything they do for our community as a whole, and not just the school system. So again, appreciate them. Ken Richardson Knives, get handcrafted knives. Go to their site there. Absolutely phenomenal stuff that they're able to do. Kobe Wan's Skills Academy. You know, always like to give a shout out to him. Jackie Morozowitz, in full bloom, does the balloon decor. We've got senior signings going to be coming up in November. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of kids using that. And Price Chopper, Brian Clark over there, appreciate what you do sponsoring the big dog of the week. And last but not least, JP Maxwell at the season ticket. Appreciate JP. Going on there, he has me on is to talk everything Bulldog. So appreciate him. So key to victory tomorrow night, Coach. What is it?
It's gonna be control. The same thing I say every week, but this week is even more important. We told our defense if we can stop 22, the kid with all the offers, it'll be a good night to be a Bulldog. If we can control their run game, make them have to pass it, and it's not like that they have some.
They got some dogs there
They
too
got
to
yeah
pass.
they are electric in the pass game as well. But the kid that drives the bus is the tailback, and if we can stop him, I think we'll have a good night. And you know, offensively, it's do the same thing we did last week. Spread the wealth. Don't be one dimensional. Get everybody involved. But if they're going to give us one phase of the option in the run game, you know that was the thing last year was that they took away the slots and Easton and Emory had a night. So if they want to play it the same way as they did last year, all right, well, you guys be ready to go. Somebody be ready to go have a night. And that's what I tell them at the end when we break down every week is go play for each other. And I can't tell you who, but one of you's going to have a night. And that's the way the option offense works is they got to pick the poison and whoever it is, be ready to have that night. And I think all four of them are ready to go. Or really, if you get them all, you know, Jack and Terrell, there's more than four of them ready to go have a night tomorrow night for sure.
I love it. Love it. All right. So last question for you. What has been either your favorite senior moment? And again, not like senior moments like I have right now, but again, senior night moment. What I'm thinking about is not just because a lot of times it's, you know, your senior year, people have that. For sometimes it's when you're so into football, it's the senior night of an upperclassman, maybe, or something they had, or maybe it's as a coach. What's been your favorite senior night moment?
Ooh, I don't know. We lost senior night my senior year to Glendale, and I that's a tough one because it all kind of blends together because senior night it's for the seniors, so you get that recognition, and it's when I was in college, our head football coach would say you always remember your last game and your senior night, and I guess the senior night that remembers the most to me is it just tells you how dumb I am as a person. My senior year of college, I blew my shoulder out. I had a grade 4 separated shoulder, or whatever they call it now, AC something or other, and I convinced the trainer and the team doctor that it was my last home football game and that I could play. And well, I'd blown my shoulder out 2 weeks earlier, so they just basically taped my arm to my body, and I couldn't use my left arm, and and I warmed up, did everything, somehow passed the test. I have a high pain tolerance, so I faked like it didn't. Didn't want to cry, and went out and dressed. And the head coach looked at me and goes, "There's no way you can play." I go, "All right, just give me a chance." And by the second half, he's like, "All right, Hef, it's your turn." I'd been starting. I blew my shoulder out. They thought I was done for the year, and I was walking to him to say, "Hey, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. I can't do this." And he looks at me and goes, "You ready to go?" I go, "Yep." I put my helmet on and went and played. Had a couple tackles, and the craziest thing, it was the way our season ended. We had 3 games after that on the road, and I did that. I played the last 4 games of my college career without being able to use my left arm, and if you touched it, I cried. But that was that senior moment of looking at Coach Welty and saying, him looking at me like, "You ready to go?" And having the epiphany of that, man, this is really stupid.
Yeah.
I know you. I thought I was tough, and when you're 21, you think you're invincible, and going out there and playing. It was a rainy day, and but we won, and it was a lot of fun. And I had to have I had to have my shoulder completely
After that,
rebuilt. I've
yeah,
got a scar that goes from here to here, and it's wild. But at the end of the day, I'd do it 100 times out of 100.
yeah.
But that's probably my senior moment. It's probably leads to why I have some senior moments like you're talking about now. But it is what it is.
I tell you, that's it is. That's for people that haven't played football. They don't understand what really goes into it. And again, I played. I was played high school football, whatever. But yeah, I'm a basketball guy.
Yeah.
But there is something about the camaraderie that goes in with that team, not letting your teammates down. That's just a little bit different than it is in some of the other
Yeah,
sports. And
and
I just kind of feel that way.
it's when you say brotherhood, it sounds cheesy and it sounds corny, but the amount of time and the sacrifice and the things that you have to do, that in the game of football and in any sport, of being a part of a team and being selfless and sacrificing and being there for other people, it the lessons you learn puts you in a great spot to go be successful in life. And that's what these kids are doing. And the kids that have, it's my 19th or 20th year. I feel like every year the kids that play football and go through that grind and go through what they have to go through, the weights, the running, the those we don't get to do 2 days anymore, but those practices when it's so hot that they're saying don't go outside, and we're going outside for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Those things. I mean, those things help you later on in life, because you've pushed yourself to points where everybody else has said, "Hey, tapped out," and you've done one more. And that's those things, because in life there's going to be stuff where it's going to get real tough, and it's real easy to quit. And we've got a great group of kids that I know will go out and fight and compete and do those things, and later on in life it's going to pay off for them in a big way. What do you think, boss?
Yeah, how you go here, Eric, a minute. I've been meaning to play on college about, I know it had nothing to do with, I mean, play college about a long time ago.
Yeah.
My mother goes and said, Drew, stop in the network.
Yeah.
He said, okay. Auction.
Well, your senior night was what? 1997, 1998? What year did you grad? 97.
1998.
98, yeah. So
Yeah.
1997
Yeah,
football
that
season
was
was
senior
Drew's
year.
senior night.
So your night.
That was almost 30 years ago. That's how old you're getting.
Him in here, a good building. Him in here.
33 years.
Yeah, him in
Wow.
building 33 years ago. Derick back
When I
then,
make him
so-
mad, he tells me that he's been here for 33 years and I need to listen to him.
Him, the veteran.
And Josh Smith, so he makes sure he lets Josh Smith know that he's been here for 33 years too.
Me and Bob was just and about that.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing to do with not so on around here.
Yeah.
Dr. Deer office.
He goes to Dr. Dare's office to try to get Josh fired regularly. I don't, and that's what he, that's what he tells me. That's what he tells me.
The next halftime of it is about outside have 20 minutes.
It's a 20-minute halftime, yes.
Halftime, 22 halftime.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff this week. It's senior night, it's band, the Hall of Fame. You're not in the Hall of Fame yet.
I'm famous yet.
If you were nicer to Josh Smith, he'd probably put you
Yeah,
in the Hall
exactly.
of Fame.
Josh is kind of in charge of that stuff.
Yeah, I
know. I think he's blackballing you from being in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we'll look into that. All right, buddy.
Yeah,
All right.
probably it is. So maybe I don't.
I'm not in anything. It's your world. I'm just living in it, buddy. We'll talk about it later. Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, hey, Coach, thanks a lot. Coach Derick Heflin, football specialist Drew Barr. Thanks again for Phelps County Bank being our title sponsor. Appreciate them. Good luck tomorrow night. Show up early because it is senior night. We want to make sure we recognize all those seniors. You got a big senior class, so make sure you show up early, plenty of time before kickoff. Probably about 6:30. I think we
I
typically.
think 6:30 is about the time to start the parent.
Yeah. So you want to be in the seats because we'll line them up. I think 6:28 to be exact. So thanks a lot. Good luck for tomorrow night.
Appreciate it.
And I'm Tom Brown from Inside the Huddle to the Heart of the Game. We'll see you next time.